The man broke off a piece of wood from the raft and tossed it into the sea. Strangely, instead of floating, it sank straight to the bottom. His stomach tightened as a terrifying thought crossed his mind. He quickly reached under the raft, dug around, and pulled out a handful of damp wood shavings. When he squeezed them, seawater oozed out immediately. When the news reached the captain, he lowered the shark cage and prepared to send someone down to investigate. But nobody believed a wooden cage could hold off sharks. Just as everyone exchanged uneasy glances, the strongest swimmer in the crew stepped forward and volunteered for the dangerous dive. Once underwater, he was horrified to see that the wood beneath the raft had rotted away from seawater. Tiny fish were swarming, chewing on the crumbling wood fibers. As he stared in shock, danger crept up. A shark suddenly appeared right in front of him. Panic took over, and he shot back to the surface. Back on the raft, he quickly explained what he had seen, and the crew fell silent, their faces grim. If the wood kept rotting, the raft would never survive the journey. One teammate suggested reinforcing the raft, but the captain flat out refused. Worse, he lied to the press, sending out a message claiming everything was fine, smooth sailing, raft in great condition. Then, ignoring the crew's protests, he insisted on rowing out in a lifeboat right into shark-infested waters just to film the ocean floor for publicity. He had no idea a shark was already circling beneath his boat, ready to strike. The captain sensed something was wrong, but when he glanced around, he saw nothing and went back to filming. Meanwhile, the shark slid behind him, lining up for an attack. One crew member spotted the danger, yanked on the rope, and pulled the lifeboat back in. They dragged the captain onto the raft just in time and scattered shark-repellent powder to keep predators at bay. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Everyone except the man who still worried. His eyes stayed fixed on the raft, held together only by ropes, and he feared it could fall apart at any moment. Then, suddenly, a crew member's pet bird startled and flew straight into the ocean. Its owner rushed to save it, but it was too late. A lurking shark snapped the parrot up in one bite. The man froze, then slowly rose to his feet, his gaze locked on the shark that had swallowed the bird. To everyone's shock, he dove in after it, grabbed hold of the shark and clung tight. Another crewmate leapt to help, jamming an iron hook into the shark's body. Together, they wrestled the thrashing beast up onto the raft. Even on deck, the shark fought viciously, thrashing and snapping. One man pinned it down and drove a knife deep into its body. Blood streamed through the cracks of the raft and into the sea, drawing more sharks closer. The battle raged on. The parrot's grieving owner, consumed by fury, joined in, slicing the shark open as blood splattered across his face. The gore overwhelmed him, shaking him to his core. Trembling, he staggered into the cabin, dragged out a wooden chest, and pulled out a coil of wire. Begging the captain, he pleaded to reinforce the raft with wire so they wouldn't have to fear it falling apart. But the captain refused, stern and unwavering. He was determined to follow the ways of their forebears, crossing the ocean with nothing but wood and rope. That was his belief.